Welcome to Faith Positive Radio with Dr. Joey Fawcett, the Christian business coaching conversation that increases your faith with greater joy at work so you love God and others more. Dr. Joey interviews Christian business professionals just like you to discover their secrets for working faith positive in a negative world. Welcome to Faith Positive Radio with Dr. Joey Fawcett.
Faith Positive Nation, it gives me a great deal of pleasure to introduce you to my new best friend, whom I met through LinkedIn. Maybe you heard a little bit about LinkedIn, but we're all over LinkedIn and we enjoy lots of connections with people all over the world. But today's guest actually commented on another Faith Positive Radio episode, the one with AJ Wilcox in it. And AJ, I think, was talking about LinkedIn, wasn't he? Or something like that.
I think he was.
Yeah. And so ironically on LinkedIn, we met. Today's guest commented on it and I loved her comment so much. And I said, hey, you want to be a guest on Faith Positive Radio? And she said, yes. And she happens to have the same first name as my baby girl. And she's baby girl to her dad. So, I mean, is it a good life being the host of Faith Positive Radio or what? Faith Positive Nation, I want you to help me welcome to Faith Positive Radio today, Liz Cortes. Liz, welcome to Faith Positive Radio.
Thank you so much, Dr. Joy. I appreciate you inviting me. I'm excited to be here.
Oh, I know. Isn't it wonderful the way God brings us together through social media?
Absolutely. We are definitely in a special time right now, and I'm glad that we have social media.
I know.
Keep it positive.
Oh, absolutely. We can work Faith Positive with people all around the world, can't we? Which is something that you and your husband, Robert, do, because the two of you are owners of a company called RebelFish Local. And you can go to the website, RebelFishLocal.com, and discover what it is that Robert and Liz do. So what does your average work day look like? Or is there an average work day for you, Liz?
I don't know if there's an average work day, but we're down here in San Diego, so it's definitely very warm and sunny, and we have to keep focused on working behind our computer when you want to be outside in the ocean. Like I sail, so I want to be outside sailing every day. Right. And what we do is we really love to empower local brick and mortar businesses, these small businesses, and helping them to manage their 3 critical lists. Those lists include like your email list, your social media list, your pixel list. I always get a question, what's a pixel list? That is like for advertising and just being able to reconnect with those people that leave your website and don't call you, don't buy anything. And then we like to package that all up with marketing your 5-star reputation online, because that's what people really want to see these days. They want to see a reputable business to work with. And so I have been working with my husband for 3 years now. First couple of years was a little challenging, but we worked things out because of loving each other in Jesus and learning about each other's personalities, like Myers-Briggs and Strengths Finder and Enneagram. So that's kind of like a typical day of what it kind of looks like.
Right.
A lot of stuff, and our staff is amazing. And so a lot of times I am training them on the new strategies I want them to implement for our clients. So they have to be fast, fluid, and flexible. That's what Rick Warren says. And our staff is like that too. So they're awesome.
Fast, fluid, and flexible. What does that look like with RebelFish Local?
So fast means that we could be working on a new project that just came on board this morning and we got to get it going. Like, for example, tomorrow's Catalyst. It's a leadership church conference and it's going to be up in Orange County. So last week, Saddleback was like, hey, can you guys come and help us with this event? So it's last week. So that's being fast, fluid, doing some marketing materials, getting stuff ready for that. Flexible, we had to move some stuff around in our calendar so that we could, help out with that and do that. So that was kind of last minute, but we definitely like to stay on track with all of our projects because there's all the time small businesses, or that's a large church, that's huge. Right. They need stuff last minute. And so that is kind of how it looks like. But maybe if you asked our staff, that'd be a different answer. It'd be like insanity. No, just kidding.
It's managed chaos, right?
Right. But it's fun. It's an adventure.
Oh, I know. Well, you wouldn't want to get up and go to work and be bored now, would you? No. But somehow I imagine coming to work with your husband every day, that would be anything but boring. So what's the secret and sauce, Liz, to being able to own and work in a company with your spouse?
The secret sauce would be definitely knowing each other's roles. So having clear roles in the company and kind of staying in that lane. So both of us before had our own businesses. They were successful. He comes from brick and mortar businesses and owning those. And I come more online, took a personal training business online, did coaching, did all that. So it's two kind of different areas. We're both used to being in charge. But having to do being married, marriage comes first. That's our first ministry. Then the business has to come second. And so just by us having our roles established, that helps us to have teamwork. That way we're not stepping on each other's toes, and also just trusting each other that, like for example, my husband, he's in charge of finances. And yeah, we have our bookkeeping, our CPA, we have our team around finances that work with him, but ultimately it's like he's the one that makes the final decisions around that. And sometimes I don't like that, but that's his role. That's not my role. And I don't really want to be in charge of that when I actually think about it. My budget is.
Yeah.
So I'd say that was the top thing, is knowing each other's roles and respecting those boundaries and trusting each other that they're going to do the best job that they can do in those different roles.
Absolutely. And that the calling on your life and his life is different, and yet they work together. So you each bring your unique contribution out of your divine design, right? Because you're really...
Absolutely. And that brings me to a point, especially when you first start a business, sometimes you have to do a lot of different roles or stuff that you don't really like doing. For me, it was a lot of admin, process documenting stuff, a lot of behind the scenes for the first 3 years of us being a business, but that's what my husband needed me to do. Being on sales or doing videos or social media and what I'm doing now, I couldn't really do that as much. I needed to fulfill and be very technical, and I'm good at that stuff. But now I'm really thankful that we have now hired more staff and we're able to pass on that fulfillment so that Robert and I can go to events in person or speak or be interviewed, do stuff like this. And that's what I really, really enjoy in teaching and sharing and inspiring people.
So you're able to live more out of your sweet spot and stay in that flow. And you're creating jobs for other people to follow their calling and work out of their divine design as well.
Yes, absolutely. And we have everyone that we hire, we have them take those personality tests. And that's really helped me to lead them better.
Right.
And to just understand what their calling is, because we have people that will want to interview for us, but I look at their design and like, I see you've had experience in these different areas, but I don't think that's how God created you to be in this role. And sometimes people don't like to hear that because they've done something for, 20 years. But like, I think when you are really walking and how you were designed, you have so much more fun working, and it's not really working.
Oh, you do. It's hardly work at all, right? It's really what we refer to as work as worship.
Right.
Like Adam and Eve, they work in that garden, right? And it's a part of worship, and it's just a communion with the Holy Spirit. So tell us a little bit more about what RebelFish Local does in helping brick and mortar businesses with their online. Give us an example of some of the services you do for our client.
Great. So we like to do multiple services for a client. However, it always starts, a lot of people come to us like, can you do Facebook ads? Can you do social media? And a lot of times that's not where you want to start. That's starting outside. There's other foundational things that need to be done. So we have a 5-step process called Local. So just like her name, we turn that into a 5-step process. And what that really does is that helps build a strong, solid foundation for your online presence by getting you set up on the review sites, those directory sites, and then also doing the local SEO so that you can actually be found in your local area. Or we sometimes work with people that don't just work in their local area. That's like national SEO, but we like the local stuff a lot better. And it's just really fun when you can just impact your community. So that's the foundation. We start all of our clients off on that spot. Then many times we go get that all complete, and then they're like, hey, I need a new website. Can you change this around because you're making me look so good everywhere else, but my website doesn't look good. So we only do websites if we're working with our clients on a monthly basis. We don't just like make them for everyone because my husband is so good at designing them, and it takes a lot of time to do websites. And so that's kind of typically what we do. And then after that foundation is done, their website's looking good, their practice, for example, we work with a lot of dentists, and their dentist practice is growing, and then it's time, hey, I want to have, higher paying patients, for example. So then that's when we're like, okay, well, let's start doing paid traffic. And so we have a couple designers on our staff, and they make just cool ads and video ads and all that type of stuff. So we can get pretty fancy, but I always get people back to the basics, which is a little bit more boring. I'm like, you got to have 5-star online reviews online, and you got to be found. Like when people search for your business name and city, that page needs to be all about you and not someone else's reputation. That needs to be you and what you have out there. So that's what we do.
Wonderful. So is local an acronym for what you do?
Yes, it is.
What does it stand for? Yeah,
okay, so local,
fire that up.
So L is for local directory listings. So you want to definitely be on at least 10. Then the O is for optimize your Google My Business, your Yelp, your Facebook. And the new one, I haven't been sharing this much online, it's a secret, is Apple Maps. They've changed things around. A lot of people don't know that, but the Apple Maps used to be connected to Yelp. It's still connected, but that's another one that will help you with your SEO. Then we move into the C in local, and that's for customer reviews. And so you want to have at least 10 reviews on your top 10 platforms for your industry, because if you're a dentist, you want to be on ZocDoc and Health Grades, but if you're a home remodeler, you're not going to be over there. You're going to be on House or those Angie's List, something like that. And then, so getting 10 reviews on all of those platforms for your industry, that's what's going to make you be trustworthy to people that are looking you online. That's what all the research says. And then we move over to, let's see, local A. What is it? A is for accelerating your growth through website optimization. So that's that local SEO and making sure you have all the right keywords and title tags and all the pages of your website so people can find your business when they're searching on Google. And then the last one is L, and that's for link building opportunities. So those are getting your website up, like for what I'm sure you do. You put up the person you are doing a podcast with, and you put their URL on your blog. That's the same thing we do with our clients, is get some linking back and forth. And a lot of times we do the link building opportunities, and we set up a community outreach program where they partner with a nonprofit, a church, a charity in their local community. And that's a way to get a link back. And some of these nonprofits have been around for a long time. And so their websites are high authority. Or if you do something for the library or a school, those are great places to get link building stuff. My husband does the link building stuff, so I just know a little bit about what he does.
You know how it works.
That's as much as I can share.
Yeah, we don't want you to outrun your headlights here. Right.
That's local. That's our 5-step process.
Local. I love it. It always makes it easy to remember when you've got an acronym, right? So how does your faith, yours and Robert's faith, impact what you're helping local brick and mortar businesses do through RebelFish Local?
I would say definitely our consistency in serving. Before we started this business, we served in this ministry called the Microsite Ministry, and it was pop-up churches. How can you start and launch a church for less than $5,000 in someone's community? And so we volunteered. My husband helped off the ground, starting that ministry with his best friend, and we were doing that. So when it came to our business, we took that same kind of like servant and serving mentality that we do, at church and the ministries, people that we volunteer with. We brought that into our business so that anytime we get a referral or meet someone online, we're always leading with value first. And so that has allowed us to pretty much be almost 100% referral based for our business, which has been amazing. So it just month after month, our clients refer us, people on social media refer us, because they saw us, I feel like, for years just being diligent and being consistent. And so people saw, okay, they can be counted on, Robert and Liz. They're trustworthy. I can trust them and send my friends or my families over to them. And so I think that's really how faith like impacted our foundation to build it up. And then now like we have some sales staff that we hired and trained, and now we're doing like the traditional, cold calling and email marketing and all that type of stuff, cold ads. But because of our solid reputation and that foundation, we still continue to get all those referrals. And so I think that has been what has been really, really huge with keeping faith always a part of our business. Because before, we both had separate businesses and we kept God like outside, like, out of the little box. And when we started this company, we both had God just done a lot inside our life. And we had both finished a 1-year discipleship school at our church, and we're like, do you want us to still be in business? Like, do you want us to be missionaries, ministry? What do you want us to do next? And God's like, nope, I built you for the marketplace. You're staying there. Right. And this is the business that you are going to have. And so it kind of just like fell, and he built it all up with brick by brick, which is great. Oh,
that is really cool. Well, you are a missionary, right? You're a workplace missionary.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. You're planting the church at work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Tell Faith Positive Nation, Liz, about some of the community engagement things that you do and that you help your clients do, because I find that absolutely fascinating.
Thank you. So one client is a laundromat, and you'd think like, why does a laundromat hire a marketing agency? No one really does that. And
well, evidently these guys do, right?
They're only kind of run down, and why would they? We've built up their email list now to over 10,000 on their list. So it's 5 locations.
Okay, but this is more than just a laundromat where I would take my own clothes in. This is like a dry cleaners and all that kind of stuff.
No, just a laundromat, just a regular old laundromat.
Just a regular old laundromat? Holy cow.
So
10,000 on their email list?
They were our very first client from
4 years
ago. And so what we did is we helped them solve another problem. So we're doing a lot of the online marketing things I shared with you guys earlier. But another problem during one of the meetings my husband was having with the 2 owners, they said, we're now at, let's see, back then it was 3 laundromats. Now they have 5. So back then they're like, we're on average having 100 pounds of laundry per laundry mat. So they had 300 per month of clothes that people left.
Wait a minute now. That means I brought my clothes to the laundromat and I put them in the washer, pulled them out, put them in the dryer, and I left them.
Right.
I just walked away from my clothes. What do we have amnesia or what's the deal there?
I don't know. We've had some brainstorming sessions to try to figure out where these clothes come from, and we're in California. So these are nice clothes. These jackets, they're nice stuff.
Oh wow.
So back then it was 300 on average, and the owner was like, I'm really frustrated. I've been giving these clothes to my staff. Well, what I found out that they're doing is they're taking these clothes to Mexico and selling them. He's like, I don't feel right about that. Like, they're like, I know that you do stuff with the church and you do homeless ministry, because we were working with the microsite ministry back then. And Robert was like, oh, I'll figure out, I'll see what we can do. So we connected them with Bridge of Hope, which is a ministry that is down the street in their area, and they help refugees find housing, get them placed, they get furniture, clothes, all that type of stuff. And so we started doing that. Now they're at five laundromats, and they have so many clothes that it's too much for Bridge of Hope. So we actually found another ministry that distributes clothes to 15 other ministries. So now, and they have a big truck. So now each month they go and drive to every location, they pick up the clothes. So we solved the problem the business owner was having. What do I do with all these clothes?
Wow.
And so get even more than 100 pounds. Like he said, like one laundromat had like almost 1,000 pounds because there was a little gap. They weren't getting picked up. But so that's just one thing that we like to do. We'd love it if we could set up community outreach programs like this for every client of ours. But I'm sure you think about your business, and is there anything that you have in excess of, or that's a problem that can help out someone else? And then figuring out, what to do. And it's unique. This has caused PR to happen, the news, and like, so there's just different things that have popped up. And so, they're doing good, but it's also that word of mouth and that PR and having other people pick up the story and share about it has built up this laundromat to have an even stronger foundation and reputation in their communities.
That's amazing. So what you did was you helped this laundromat discover how to love your neighbor as yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I love it. I love it. What kind of challenges do you and Robert face as business owners?
So one big challenge, the first one that I think about is, what to share online. So online, social media, you definitely are always being watched, especially being a Christian or being on, and what do you share? So I think about it was about a year ago. I had never shared the story about how we got to built a six-figure agency. I had never shared that. We didn't really talk about money ever. We just kept sharing these great stories. And that wasn't something that we ever talked about. Well, I was asked to be interviewed and do a webinar to inspire 350 marketing agencies on how to build a six-figure agency. And so as I prayed and was like, what do I share? And I was like, I've never shared this story before. And I never wrote it out because I'm like, we just didn't really talk about that. And so I shared it. I shared, scripture and just different things. And I was like, wow, like I want to see more people in this secular group, like stand up, and I want to see who like believes what I believe, or who's
there you go.
So it was so cool. There was like tons of comments in the Facebook group and like people like proclaiming what they believe. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. And so something shifted in that group because we've been a part of it for about a year. And now more and more people ask for prayer now. They are sharing scripture or sharing like some sermons in that group of like, this was really empowering. And so that was cool. Well, what's the challenge? Or like, that doesn't sound like a challenge. What's the challenge? Well, after I was finished doing that hour-long webinar interview, it was long. We got into deep strategies. I was sharing all of our secrets and what worked. Then I was like, you know what? I do this weekly Facebook Live show called Local Marketing Minute. Well, let me share our story on how we got to six figures of residual, like recurring revenue with our clients. After 18 months of being in business and while spending a whole entire month doing ministry, not even building our business.
Wow.
I was out of the country. My husband was working with Saddleback Church and doing ministry work with them. I'm like, let me share the story. I want to inspire some businesses. Well, I share that little Facebook Live video, 10-minute little testimony story. And then the challenge is I started getting all these people asking me for money.
Because you got a six-figure business.
People that I did not have a relationship with. I'm like, are you kidding me? So I just got so, I was like, do I take this down? I was like, what do I do? I was like, this makes it really challenging. It was just really uncomfortable because it was hard to share that. I don't normally like to like throw that stuff out there or whatever. And I didn't think that would happen. And so I think sometimes it's tough to know what to share on social media or what to comment on, especially when you have a business, especially when there's like political stuff up there or stuff that you want to share. And and then to have to deal with whatever the backlash is or whatever the consequences are of sharing.
The unexpected responses, right?
I guess that's the biggest thing. And so I ended up not taking it down. I got some counsel and I was like, should I take this down? Like, is that not something good for me to talk about? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm pointing everyone back to Jesus. Like, and I just feel like when you do have a business or you are on social media, like people are watching all the time, how are you going to respond? How are you going to act? And you definitely want to be like, keep pointing people and saying, being grateful for, what God blesses you with and always giving him credit. Or anytime you have that opportunity to do an interview or anything like that, like ask yourself, are you sharing part of your testimony? Because it's your story. Like, no one can take that away from you or put you down if it's something that's your story. And so you get this opportunity. So that's the biggest challenges. But we've had a lot. There was another big one for my husband that might make a difference. I don't know.
What's that?
That story too?
Yeah, what's that?
Quite a big difference for some people here. It's around like integrity. So before we started this agency, we were working for another one and we helped build that agency on a monthly. I was only there for 6 months. My husband was there for a year, just doing cold calling, $10 an hour he was making while he was going to discipleship school. Then we helped build that agency in from about 42,000 a month to over 65,000 a month. So we increased their sales a lot. So we were doing pretty good, making a nice little commission there, taking care of us. Well, the owner let go of over half the company, and both of us were part of it. And so after Christmas, being really angry, like, how did this happen? We brought in so much money. Like, how can you let go of half the company? How can you gamble all that stuff away? Like, we thought we were secure, but you're never secure in a job, your health. Like, you never know what's going to happen. And we had all of his passwords to everything. So my husband was very, very tempted to go in and unsubscribe all of his $65,000 worth of auto bills.
Yeah. Wow. What a temptation.
One of those credit cards. That was what he really wanted to do really bad. Even though we're Christians, like, yeah, that's bad. That's like evil. So God, like, audibly, like, I mean, God normally, you know, speaks to you through the Bible as you're reading it through
right.
a friend or your wife if you're married, like me. But I think it's the only time Robert ever felt like something audible coming from God. He's like, do not do that.
Wow.
And so he never did. And that owner didn't change his passwords, which is interesting. Anytime you let go of staff, you have to have an offboarding process and change your passwords or stuff like that. Like, you never know what could happen. Not everyone will have, you know, that integrity.
That's
right. To this day, we have not reached out to a single one of those clients that we referred over there or, you know, signed up for those services. And we have built our business without even needing that stuff or anything. And so that's something that was definitely very hard, and multiple times over the years, there was just like thoughts of, I wonder if that password, I wonder, and it's like, no, like, and saying no to that temptation. So I'm very proud of my husband for like listening to God and for us building this business without using any resources or connections from that previous business. Even though it was really unfortunate, I'd say the average person probably wouldn't have handled it that well, but we really stuck to it.
Yeah, and not only did you stick to it, you trusted God to take care of you as you built your own business without having to siphon customers off of that guy's business. So,
right. So I thought maybe that would encourage someone listening.
Yeah, well, just because we're believers doesn't mean that we don't get tempted, right? In fact, I think sometimes we get more tempted and by opportunities like that because there is so much injustice in the world and we can respond to it with injustice. Or we can do what Robert did, and that is listen to God and obey. So kudos to Robert and you for building a business on integrity. It's great to hear that's one of your core values. Somebody in Faith Positive Nation is going to want to reach out to you, Liz. They're going to say, I want to find out more about RebelFish Local, or I want to find out more about the secret sauce, you know, as to how they built up so many great marketing clients. Or they may want to ask you a faith-filled question. How's the best way for somebody in Faith Positive Nation to reach out to you, Liz?
Yeah, you can reach out to me. I'm mostly over on Instagram. So I don't know if you're on Instagram, but it's Liz Cortes online. Or if you look for RebelFish Local, I manage all those social media accounts. So you can send a message to any of those other places, and you'll definitely be able to get over to me too. Okay,
and an email address for those who aren't on Instagram?
Yes, my email is liz@rebelfishlocal.com.
Wonderful. Liz Cortes, along with her husband Robert, own RebelFish Local, and you can go check out their website at rebelfishlocal.com. Faith Positive Nation always wants to know from our guest, Liz, about a favorite Bible verse or Bible passage that's been especially meaningful to you, maybe right now in some challenge you're facing as a business owner. What's your favorite Bible verse or passage?
Yeah, so one, I definitely have my favorite one, but you said only one.
I did. I said one.
So I have two. I was planning on sharing two, but I will stick to the one. But I grew up going to Awana, so I don't know if any listeners know what that is. I study the Bible from, 4 years old all the way up to college. I mean, I'm still studying it now. Like, it is stuff, but through that program. And one of the verses is Ephesians 2:8-9. And that is the one that I'm really holding on to in this season. I just started a new Bible study with some women that I'm in, and it's really focused on how do you have grace with truth? And I'm sure it's hard, like, when do you share truth with your friends, your family, but not come off too legalistic and come off more graceful, because that's how Jesus was. He was graceful in all that he did. And so this week, definitely, I'm like listening to the verses, everything, and literally it was so great. I'm writing down my notes as I'm listening to the sermon online. And this verse popped in my head. I'm like, wow, that was such a theme verse that I've had my whole entire life since I learned that probably, I think, in third grade and memorized that verse. If you don't know what that is, Ephesians 2 and 8 is, for by grace you have been saved through faith, and it's not by any of your works, and it's a gift from God. And so that's what that verse is all about. And so I'm writing down my notes, and I think about that verse. I'm like, oh, that's such a great verse. I'm so glad I learned that so young. And then I look at my notebook, and like the exact little verse up here in my little journal is that one.
Oh,
and
wow.
Like, that's interesting. Okay, thanks. Holy Spirit's revealing something. And then the pastor says the verse. Like literally, like I wrote down to the very bottom on here.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, God, I'm listening.
Yeah, I get it, Lord. I get it. Ephesians 2:9. I'm
like, thanks for reminding me of this verse and just that gift of grace. And so that's what I'm really definitely working on. I guess it goes into business too. With being in business with my husband, is just being more graceful with everything that we do. And just, that's my verse for right now.
And yet telling the truth as well. And like Jesus, helping people come to that truth, but in a grace-filled way. Well, I absolutely love that. Faith Positive Nation, go to RebelFishLocal.com. There you'll find Liz and her husband, Robert Cortes, hanging out, waiting for you to contact them so that they can not only do business with you, but share some of what God's doing in their lives and how God keeps them active and vital and vibrant as Christian business owners. Liz, thank you so much for the gift of your time, for your wisdom, your passion for helping brick and mortar businesses to be able to get online and do the kinds of things that will help them succeed so that they can engage their community and love their neighbors even more. We pray God's blessings on you and Robert on RebelFishLocal.com and all that you do. Thank you so much, Liz.
Thank you so much, Dr. Joey.
Thanks for listening to Faith Positive Radio, the Christian business coaching conversation that increases your faith with greater joy at work so you love God and others more. Suggest guests and ask questions when you email Dr. Joey at info@getpositive.today. And be sure to get your free gift of the 5 positive business conversations to have today coaching program at getpositive.today. Until next time, may God bless you with everything your heart can hope for and more than your mind can imagine.